Everybody seems to be making these videos lately about, you know, bang for the buck vehicles, basically top cars you should buy for X amount of dollars. So I thought I'd kind of jump in on the fun and kind of have a list of my essentially top three good buys right now, as far as I'm concerned. Starting with first gen Mustang, so that's 64 to 68 technically, but this is going to be more specifically 64, 5, and 6. So I've compiled a small list here. This is all sold prices on eBay. So this is a sold price. This isn't somebody on Craigslist asking, $100,000 for a car that never sells. These are what the market is telling us. If you remember, kind of just before COVID, there was a lot of these vehicles being sold. Like $10,000 was an absolutely mint car, and it's changed a lot. So let's look at this one here. This is a very nice coupe, and this car is $22,000, I believe it's sold for. And I would say it's a pretty good buy, as far as I can tell now. Hey, maybe it's got some some issues. You never know. But good bang for the buck. My next one is the Pontiac Firebird, which is essentially a Camaro. It's a Camaro. First gen Firebird, as we're talking here, 67 to 69. These cars are really a bargain compared to a Camaro, in my opinion. And they make just as many parts. The interiors, everything's available for these cars. Look at this one, $15,000. It's a bit of a project, obviously. However, look what you're getting for $15,000. This same car in a Camaro, you'd be paying astronomical money. I mean, even this one. This is an even better example of that. A 67 big block convertible Firebird for a little over $30,000. And again, you'd have to inspect the car. Maybe it's really not that great. But, the pictures, I think, do it justice. It looks like there's a lot of new stuff. And you would pay probably 50 plus grand for that car in a Camaro. And this is, I think this one here is a good driver quality Firebird, essentially. So, $17,000 for this car, pretty good buy, I think. Again, if this was a Camaro, you're probably talking $25,000, maybe even $30,000. I mean, here you go. As a good comparison, look how much higher all these prices are. Now, granted, some of these cars are maybe a bit nicer, but there's a significant difference between the price on the first-gen Camaros and the Firebirds. And, if you really got to have the Camaro, but you don't have the Camaro money, you can always do what everybody else, and you'll get some hate, obviously, from the car show people and whatnot, but it's your car. Make it how you want. Look at this. This is a beautiful car, actually. I believe it's kind of all numbers matching. I went through it a bit, right? So as you can tell, RSSS 396 4-speed. This would be a very expensive car, and it was. It sold for a little over 60 grand. It looks absolutely beautiful, and the Granada Gold is just a stunning color, in my opinion. Third one on the list, I have the Plymouth Duster, 70 to 75. A lot of these cars, 318, straight 6, you name it, but it's a Dodge. You know what? They made a couple million of them in the 70s. There's lots of them. This is a drag car. It sold for 10 grand. You can't even begin to try and build that for $10,000. No chance. Here's another one here, 73 Duster. This is a driver car, 318 original in it. Again, 13 grand. Look at it. It's beautiful. Okay, sure. Needs a little bit of work. But you know what? What are you going to find out there these days for the money? It's getting so hard to find a good driver's quality car in anything from this time period. It just doesn't exist. If you had to try and rebuild any of that, buy the interior, you're going to spend thousands upon thousands of dollars. And I think for 13 grand for a car like this, and again, the Duster is actually a beautiful car in my opinion, especially in the right color. You start getting some of the high impact colors, can't go wrong. So if you're into a Dodge, get yourself one of those. And lastly, just as a little toss in, the last generation, in my opinion, of what I would call the nice looking Chevy Novas would be 73, 74. 75 is body style change. I don't really care for them after that, but hey, to each their own, right? Like, look at this car for $10,800, small block Chevy, all kinds of stuff done to it, beautiful driver, you name it. Like, Willwood calipers, how much are those? Those are $1,000. The rims, tires, you name it on this car. Cannot be beaten. If you want that late 60s muscle car classic look without breaking the bank account, I think this last touch few years of Chevy Nova is by far the best bang for the buck. And if you don't like it, you can put a 68 front end on it or a 72 front end.
Like, comment, and subscribe, as there will be more fun, interesting old cars coming up. Like this one. My high school sweetheart bought it when I was 15. Well, my mom did, because I was broke. So she bought it for me. I was supposed to pay her back. Never did. Oops. Sorry, Mom. Love you. But stick around. So we're going to have this coming up eventually as well. It's got a 454, and it isn't alive anymore. My fault. But I'm going to fix that.